Okay, we start the lesson. Welcome to the Russian language course for beginners. Today we have lesson number 11. So first, I'll remind you what we learned last time. These are all the words that we learned so far. So those were the words that we learned in the previous 10 lessons. And because the list is getting too long, so I will not be showing you these words next time. We'll start the list from zero. Yesterday, we learned simple greetings in Russian language, how to say hello, goodbye, good morning, good afternoon. And we also practiced the adjectives, how you put different endings depending on the gender. And today I'm gonna touch on a very difficult subject. I find difficult, but this is something that we must cover in the beginner's course, and we'll talk about plurals. And we talk about nouns. What are plurals? In English language, you also have singular and plural. For example, table and tables. And in English language, you create plurals in a very, very simple way. You just add an S at the end. There are some exceptions. For example, person, people, or man. But there are not many exceptions. I don't know how many, but it's less than 1% of all the words, significantly less than 1%. So in English language, it's really simple how you make plural. But in Russian language, making plural is not that straightforward. There are actually many rules, and those rules cannot be explained 100%. It means that apart from having rules, you have many exceptions. And basically, I would recommend for every noun in Russian language, you also learn the plural form of it when you're memorizing it, because it's a high chance that if you follow the rules, you'll get a wrong plural in the end. Okay, so let me try. And Stephen, your inputs will be very valuable, very valuable. Okay, what are the rules? The rules for plural are more complicated than the rules we learned for the adjectives. I find for adjectives is pretty straightforward, and I can't think of any exceptions. But for plural is different. Okay, and let me try to explain what is written here. Let me remind you that a noun in Russian language, it can either end with a vowel. For example, I'll be writing somewhere here. For example, if you look at the word bukva, which means a letter, then it ends with a vowel. But it can also end with a consonant, uchini. And the way how you make the plural in Russian language, it depends on what is the last letter of the word. And I find it easier If you want, actually, this table later on, I can post in the beginners group in our chat. So I'll start explaining the rules for the words which end with a consonant. And in order to make it simpler, I try to explain it in such a way that we don't mention genders. So you don't need to think about genders, whether it's masculine, feminine. You just look at the last letter, and then you make the rule how to make to make a plural. So this is the list of letters. If you find one of those letters at the end of the word, then after this letter, you must put the letter I. Let me take a look which words we learned before, so that I can give you an example for the word that you're familiar with. Let's see. For example, the word kot. Kot, which means a cat. And you see the letter T is the one which is here on the list. And therefore, at the end, you must put the letter I. If you want to say cats, you say kati. Kati. And immediately, I want to let you know that apart from adding another letter, you also must switch the stress. In singular, the stress is on the letter O, kot. But after you add the letter I, then the stress switches to kati, kati. Let's see what other word. Zub. Zub. Again, you see the letter B is on the list here. Then you put it at the end and you get zube. Zube. In the word zube, the stress didn't change. It remains on the same place, zube. Okay, then if the letter at the end is one of these ones, then instead of putting I at the end, you must put E. Guys, I let you know straight away that the topic is complicated. Therefore, if you have any questions, you better immediately ask me to avoid getting confused. And again, I'll give you a few examples. Ученик. Ученик. Letter K is from this list here. At the end, we put ученики. Ученики. And the stress has changed. It used to be here in singular, ученик, and it changed to ученики. Звук. Звук. Звуки. Звуки. Слог, which means a syllable. Слоги. Слог, слоги. So, for these 2 points above, these two, I find the logic is not hard. It is just that you must make an effort to memorize which letters are in the first group, which letters are in the second group. I believe the best way to memorize it is by practicing. Therefore, I think we will stretch a learning of plurals over a few lessons, not only today, but maybe next lesson and maybe even after that. So far it makes sense, it is logical. Then let's move on to the next point. If the last letter is A, as in bukva, then you must follow the same rules as I just explained, as those two rules, but instead of adding the letter I or E, you must replace the letter A. So you must also delete this. And then you add the letter I. Just to explain the logic. So if the last letter of the word is A, then you still must follow the same rules as above. It's just the differences. In the previous cases, you must add a letter I or E. But here, instead of adding, you're replacing. You're replacing A with I. And again, you see that the rule is working. The letter V is from the first part, and therefore here you put the letter I and not E. Let's see. Mama, singular. Mami, plural. Again, because you can find the letter M here. You can also make plural for the personal names. For example, Natasha. And if you want to say Natashas, say Natashi. The letter Sh comes from the second group. Therefore, you must change it to E. Ложка, ложки. Great. Great. So, since there are no questions, you know, guys, now it is all logical, but I promise you it will not be that logical. There are many things that cannot be explained. It's just we're slowly getting there. So the first three rules we have covered. Now let's look at this rule. If the last letter of the word is O, then it always changes to A. It doesn't matter what the preceding consonant is. Окно, окна. Окно, окна. It means window and windows. If the last letter is Ye, one word we learned, such word, приложение, then Ye must be changed to Ya. Приложение. And finally, the last word is yeah. It must change to me. Just to make it easier for you to remember, you see that the letter O is hard vowel, and then it is also replaced with hard vowel. And the letter E and the letter Y and the letter Ya are the soft vowels. Therefore, in plural, they are also replaced with soft vowels. Fortunately, we haven't learned any words that end with Ya. I can give you just an example. Dядя, which means uncle. Plural, it would be дяди, uncles, uncles. Okay. So far, so good. Hope you guys can understand my humble theory. Okay. And now, what are the difficulties? You see, first thing that cannot be explained is the stress. I personally, I cannot find any rule about how and when you must change the stress. Like, let me see. In the word коты, кот, коты, the stress changes, but in the word зуб, зубы, it doesn't change. And I am afraid that maybe there is no rule which can guide you, which will tell you when you must change the stress. Therefore, you must memorize those words where the stress changes. Or if in future I'll find out such rule, I'll let you know, of course. But to me, it seems the situation seems to be similar to the process of learning English. When you learn English, there is a challenge that you can't know how the word is pronounced from writing. You see the word for the first time and you don't know how to pronounce it. There are so many ways how to pronounce it. You need to see the transcription. So I need to memorize every word, its pronunciation. And it's a similar situation here. There are many things you must memorize individually for every word. Yes. And also, the accent, the stress, is not the only problem. There are many words that don't follow these rules that I have written about. So you see, there are 6 rules here. 6 rules here. And, there are many words. I don't know how many, maybe 10% of entire vocabulary, maybe 20% of the entire vocabulary that don't follow this. Simple example, the one word that we have learned is яблоко, which means an apple. And you see, it ends with O. And by right, you should apply rule number 4, and you should change the ending to A. You must change, but you must put I, яблоки. And now I see that maybe it is not the best way to say put O, I must say replace. Replace all with A. Yeah. Yeah. Because, yeah. This is a better, more logical explanation. Okay, so here are the rules. It is good that if you remember them, because it will give you a feeling. See, but when you learn new words, it is better if you also memorize the way they should be pronounced in plural. And now I'll take all the words that we have learned so far, all the nouns, and show you the plural for them. Okay. Just give me a few seconds so that I can select only the nouns. Okay, I hope that maybe for now I can delete those loops. So let's see, it would be better if I could, maybe instead of deleting them, if I could squeeze in here and make my words. Maybe there was not enough space. I think there's not enough space. So never mind. Let's maybe go line by line. I want to ask anybody here and here. Normally, I would like you to participate and give your best try to follow some rules, like we did that with adjectives. But there are so many exceptions that I will not ask you to do this. I'll do it for you. I'll do it for you. Kakvi. So this one follows the rule. Kakvi. Dom is an exception. And you can't say domy, you say dama. Dama. Звуки. Буквы. Brat is an exception. You can't say браты, but you say братья. Братья. And I apologize for taking your time, but after the lesson, I'll just send you the list of those words when you have plural and singular and plural. But I still must pronounce this for you. But while I'm showing the plural for you, before I say it, you try to think what should be the right combination, and then you can check whether it's correct or not. Мамы, папы, слуги, the next batch of words. Слова. Яблоки. Человек is an exception. Here it is similar the way it is in English. Person and people, these two words are so different in pronunciation. And in Russian language, person and people are also very different in pronunciation. So we don't say человеки, we say люди. However, if you encounter some Russian children who would be maybe 3 or 4 years old, they often say человеки, because the Russian is not with человеки. Люди, ученики, учителя. This is an exception. Учителя. Okay, then we have the batch of names. Иваны, Андреи, Анны, Наташи, ложки, зубы, мужья. Not мужи, but мужья. Мужья. Языки. Предложения. Карандаши. Ручки. Бумаги. Утра. Или утро. Утро. День. Дни. Ночь. Ночи. Вечер. Вечера. Exception. Вечер is exception. Небо. Небеса. Трава. Травы. Солнце. Солнца. Облако. Облака. Okay. So, and your homework for today would be, I will send you the list of words, all the nouns that we have learned so far. I'll send it to you in both forms, in singular and plural, and your homework will be to read out the plural form. So it will give you a little bit of a feeling on how to produce a plural form in Russian, and also you can practice pronunciation. Cindy, I get a question from you. Can you please specify what exactly you mean? Is it maybe because the O is pronounced as A?
I was wondering about Yabloko, because
Yabloko.
the O at the end, yeah, that they changed into Yablaki. So I was wondering about that because it's an exception.
It's exception, but yeah, I don't know how to explain. Yabloko, Yablaki. Yeah, I think it's an exception, unexplainable exception.
Mm.
There's some technical problem with Zoom. So, dear friends, I would like you to ask questions if you have right now. I'm waiting for questions. I think this is a difficult piece of knowledge. You see, there are many rules, and also there are many exceptions. So this is definitely not something that you can master within 1 day or 1 week. Actually, the last two topics that we have covered about the adjectives and how you change the endings of adjectives according to genders, and these are things that require a lot of practice. So I plan to do a lot of practice during the following lessons. I'll create some exercise and we will be practicing these few grammatical rules. And for today, if you don't have any more questions, then we can finish here. I want to say thank you to everybody for coming. It was a pleasure, and see you again on Wednesday. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Pak,